Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This YouTube channel is associated with thecuddlevlog.com and this is my first video. We should do a dance first, yeah. So let me introduce myself. My name is Tomi and I live in Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm a new mom. I have a 10-month-old son and I decided to start a blog as about the time it was 4 months. I have been running the blog ever since with an Instagram account, and I decided that it's about time that we open a YouTube channel. So here I am. After I had my son, I decided to quit my job and focus on taking care of my child. So I'm a stay-at-home mom that is into blogging, and I'm also studying to be a filmmaker. So those are the things that I do when my son is sleeping. Anyway, so today I want to share with you my birth story. So cliche, right? Your first video is your birth story. But I think that it's important that people share stories and let everyone know what happened, because I was also searching the internet the period that I was about to give birth, watching different people's stories, and it was helpful to be able to be calm and to know what to expect. So here's my story, my birth story. I pretty much had an uneventful pregnancy. I mean uneventful in the sense that there was no major scare or constant hospital visits like some people have to go through. I didn't have all of that, but there was just the normal stuff, well, some of the normal stuff like nausea, weekly monthly antenatal visits and bi-weekly antenatal classes, and basically that was it. I didn't really have any major issues like major cravings or just the normal stuff. I was tired, I had nausea a bit, doctor's visits, appointments, basically all the works. But when it was time for me to give birth, for the first time I heard the doctor go, but I think, regularly in my appointment I always, oh, you're pretty fine, everything's going good, you're good, you can go, But this time it was like, what's up? So the doctor's like, okay, so what do you say your height is? That was at my 37th week appointment. He said, what do you say your height is? And I'm like, I'm not really sure. He said, okay, go to the nurse, measure and come back to me. Measured, went back to him with the figures, and he goes, okay, I'll schedule you for a pelvimetry examination. And what the pelvimetry examination is like an x-ray kind of thing, where they just go measure your pelvis to be sure that it's adequate enough for you to push a baby through the birth canal. So my appointment was like on a Wednesday, on a Friday, and I was already going on the weekly appointments. So it was on a Friday, I was supposed to go back the next Friday. So that Friday I was supposed to go back was the day I was supposed to do the scan and get the results to the doctor. So I went to do the scan, went back to the doctor. The doctor saw the report and it was like and he said it so casually, like without thinking that it was a life-changing decision for me. Life-changing, yes. He said to me, I'm gonna schedule you for a cesarean section next week Wednesday. And I was like, what did you say? He said, I'm scheduling you for a cesarean section next week Wednesday. Just like that. And I'm like, really? Just like that? And here I was, 37 weeks, thinking I had 3 more weeks to go, preparing myself, psyching myself up, thinking, how is labor going to be like? What's it going to be? When will I have my contractions? What's it going to feel like? And then the doctors are said it casually. I'm like, you're not gonna have any of that. You're not gonna have any experience of that experience. And I'm like, okay. So why I was asking questions. So why are you scheduling? Because I already called the other doctor that would do the surgery, and he had spoken to him already right in my presence. Then I said asking questions, and he said that okay, if you have so and so number, that women below this certain height are more at risk of having to inadequate pelvis to push a baby out. I'm like, okay, said, but it's a risk you can take if you don't want to, but he's not going to advise it because it would affect the baby a lot. It can come out with bruises and all of that. So I was like, okay. Of course, my husband wasn't there with me. Picked up the phone, I called him, and we talked about it. And okay, then we agreed. Of course, we had no choice. So I told the doctor, says, okay, see you next week. And I went home dazed. I've never done surgery before. Here I am. I have just 4 days, because I was going to go to the hospital the day before the surgery. So I got out of the hospital. They did all the necessary checks. They're supposed to take your blood and did a few things in preparation for next week Tuesday night. So I went back home and I tried to mentally prepare myself for this grand entry of this child. I logged off social media, put my playlist together, which I will share with you guys. Put my playlist together and just kept playing it over and over again, just to get my mind quiet and in the frame of mind of peace, so that I wouldn't have to worry. I didn't want to worry about anything, so my husband was like, don't worry, everything will be fine. It's gonna be one of the last few days of just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
So we're trying to document before our lives drastically changes.
I don't know about drastically.
It's drastic. That weekend, it was just me trying to get myself in the zone. Packed my bags, finally. And nothing I did in preparation was to check online. I went online. What do you expect for a CS delivery? What happens during a CS delivery? Birth, story, CS. I googled everything. I googled everything. YouTube, Google, I read, I watched. I was just watching. Why some people might think that okay, it might scare you, but it's a good thing because you're prepared for what to expect. It's not going to be like a shock. So even if your experience is better than the person that shared it, oh, thank God. But then watch the worst case scenario. Honestly, watch it. Watch the worst case scenario. Just make sure that you get yourself in the frame of mind that you're at peace, so that those things will not boggle you, but you are prepared for the worst. So if yours is better, if not, at least you're prepared, So so I watched everything. Watched the home delivery, this one, that one. I watched everything. One thing I saw lacking was that there were really no Nigerian moms sharing their story. Well, I'm here now. Slept. I put in movies on my phone, so I watched Queen of Catway that night. I won't forget. That's the night I watched Queen of Catway. So I think something positive. It was something positive. So I watched Queen of Catway that night. In the morning, by early morning, around 6, I think, the nurses had come. They'll shave you. They'll put in the line, not the drip yet, but they'll put in the line on your hands, and it was painful. As in my hand, by the time they were done, the day after, my hands were I think it was painful. I can't explain it. It was so painful. One hand, I said at one point, I told them please that they shouldn't pass anything through that hand again, because as it's passing through, you can feel it going into your body. And then it became, as I was like, the vein was paining me. They had passed so much. As the other one was like, no, remove it. And it was, I really don't like talking about this experience, because I didn't feel like it was a very pleasant one. It was traumatic for me. Traumatic for me. I'd never done surgery before. I wasn't, anyways. So they came, passed the line, put the drip thing on my hands, and shaved me and said okay. So I had to wait for the doctor. I think they gave birth to one other woman's baby before mine, so I waited till like in the afternoonish kind of. So wheeled me. No, I walked, not wheeled. I walked to the theater to where they were, so I was waiting. Then when I got there, I was so tight and so heavy at the time. I was just bawling. I was crying, like, that I wanted it to be over. Honestly, I just wanted it to be over, because I was so uncomfortable, so tight. Then the line that they had put on my hand was paining me, and it was even just the beginning. I didn't even know what was coming. I didn't even know at the time, so I was just crying while I was waiting for them to prep the theater and all that. Then, of course, get to the theater, very cold room, and just stuck naked. I didn't even care. I didn't even mind. That time, that was not what was in my head. Then the injection, feeling numb on your legs and everything. Then they are making sure that you're not feeling pain. But at the time, initially, when they, try and cut, like, did you feel it? I said yes. I felt it a bit. And I increased a bit of the dose. Not enough to knock me out, but enough for me not to feel any more pain. But I could feel everything that's happening. So they were just trying to talk to me, like, okay, tell me, how are you? They'll call my name again, tell me. Just talk to me, to make sure that I didn't sleep off, or, apparently I think I was just saying crap and saying a lot of rubbish, because that thing is highness. Hey, painkiller, but very effective, because when they finished the surgery and they were giving me those painkillers, knocked me out straight, but I didn't feel any pain. I didn't feel any pain. Aside from all the pain from all the injections, choking my leg, choking my hand, that's shocking pain. That hospital, they managed the pain very well for me. They managed the pain very well for me, because of they have it on lockdown, I'm sure, because they already knew the dosage to give it, as when to give it before it starts paining you so much. So they did manage the pain very well. So my husband was in the theater with me and everything, and we, when they brought out the baby, I was so relieved. I was so happy. The reason why I was happy was not because, I now have a son. No, I was happy because they got him out of, like, thank you for getting him out of me. And that was like the joy that I felt. Not that, I now have a son, because I didn't see him until later, and I didn't even bond with him until very much later. But at the time, it was just like, thank you, Jesus is out of my body. So then the whole stitching process, I think I slept in between, but the shadows just be touching me. At some point, they asked my husband to be talking to me, so he'll be asking me, he'll say, oh, you still have on, is this and that? And I said, but I'm not seeing you. And then drugged. I'm not seeing. Every other thing was like a blur. Like after that, it was a blur. My husband recorded it. The amazing thing is that barely like a month after, we lost all the footage. So sad. We lost all the footage of the birth of the baby, as in he recorded the whole surgery and everything. But unfortunately, We're not gonna mourn over that, are we? No, we're not. So, and I gave birth to my baby. I got into the room, and then there's the long journey to recovery. To CS recovery begins. So it begins with you first start feeling your legs. They will come back and ask you, have you started feeling anything? Make sure you lift it, start lifting it up. I don't know how many hours because I was just in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. But they will come back to just make sure that, are you feeling your legs now? I think before the night or so, I don't know, the next day. The next day, I was already feeling my legs fully, but not, it was still very heavy. But they will encourage you to now stand up. But before what part of what I watched was what people really complained about is that first walk after the surgery. So mentally I was already prepared that this thing might hurt me so bad, I may not enjoy it at all. But when I walked the first time, it wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad, as in it wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. So that's why I'm saying that prepare for the worst, so that at least if you land somewhere in the middle, you won't be too disappointed. Another thing I didn't like about it was that the fact that they were just pushing me to, stand up, your son is here, breastfeed him, and I just had surgery, please can I sleep? That was my mind, can I sleep? I'm not very happy yet. I'm not happy yet. Can I sleep? I understand that they're trying to nudge me to, stand up quickly so that I don't have blood clots in my legs. But then, it was just too much and too quickly. All cramped up in that 24 hours. It's stand up. This one, okay, you start eating now. You need to start breastfeeding, and the pain from breastfeeding alone, that was like 100. The pain from breastfeeding, the pain from your legs, the general body pain, and the general just pain from choking your hand, injections on your leg, everything. It was just too much, and that was what made it a traumatic experience for me. And that's one of the major things I absolutely did not like about it, and I'm so not looking forward to it again. I'm not looking forward. If I have to do it again, I know that I'll mentally prepare myself. But till then, I'm not looking forward to it, honestly. I'm not. But after a while, the whole journey to recovery is a whole different video entirely. But after a while, I carried my baby, and for the first time, I carried him for the first time. I didn't really feel butterflies or anything. It wasn't emotional like that, but I was just happy to carry him. I was like, he's mine. He's mine. I want that picture. It's like, it's mine. So, all of that. So basically, that was my birth story. The whole shenanigans happened after recovery, pain, whatever, breastfeeding. Those are things for another story. But that's why we're here, to love on ourselves. I'm here for the long haul, people. So stay tuned for my next video. Please share your birth story with me. I would love to hear it. I will love to hear it. And share it with the world. Share it with the universe. Let other mothers know what to expect, at least from your own perspective. Please share your story. I'd love to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe. Show us some love. Show us some love. Subscribe, like, share. Yeah. See you next week.